Hi fashion lovers, today we are making this alternate crisscross top. Okay, so this is the calculation and we're working with now. For this top, you can see it is not a fitted top, it is a little bit free. So I added ease of 4 inches to my basic 3 measurement, then summed it before dividing. Okay, now what you add to your dress depends on how free or tight the dress is. This particular top, it is free but not too free. Okay, so you can go with 4 or 5. So my bust, waist, hip 36, 28, 40. I added +4 to each of them, summed it. My bust total is 40, waist 32, my hip is 44. I divided by 4 because we fold into 4. Then you add your sewing allowance of 2 inches. What you add to your allowance depends on if you're going to add that or not. You can equally work with princess dart on this dress. Okay, so first thing, I folded my fabric, my pattern paper. Sorry, if you're making this dress, please, in order not to waste fabric, you must cut it on pattern paper. You will know the reason why you should do that as the video goes, as we continue the pattern drafting. All right, now the first thing is you mark 4 inches on top of your pattern. Now what is this 4 inches for? Let's call it an extension. All right, now the shoulder has an extension. It's a crisscross. Okay, so that is how it goes. So I'll be going for 4 inches. You can work with the minimum, you can work with 3.5, but 4 inches is perfect. 5 inches is equally okay. So we have marked our 4 inches above. So from where the 4 inches ended, you start marking your shoulder. Remember, according to the calculation, it is shoulder 16. All right, so I've marked 16. The next, I'll check my armhole depth, mark out the necessary basic lines, which is armhole depth, half length, hip line. All right, then we use rule to connect them perfectly well. All right, now for my armhole depth, what did I use? I went for 8. Okay, you can see how it's not choking on the armhole. Okay, so you can equally work with 8.5. You can equally work with 7.5, depends on who you're making the dress for. All right, so I marked my bust, my armhole depth, my half length, and my blouse length. So to be more clear, I'll use rule and connect it first. Okay, use rule and connect it first. Equally, label them out so you get to understand. Basically, what I'm doing first is drafting out our basic measurement, our basic blouse pattern. That is basically what I'm doing right now. The only difference is the extension on the shoulder. Remember, I said the extension can be 4, it can be 3.5, it can be 5, but for me, I'm working with 4. Okay, so that is my shoulder. All right, now that is my bust. My armhole depth is where I mark bust, half length is where I mark waist, blouse length is for my hip. Okay, so after writing all this down, the next is for me to mark out my measurement. Now we have done the calculation, you already know. Now for the bust, I have the total calculation I have for the bust is 12 and all the rest of them. Okay, so for our extension, I will equally write extension on it. Okay, so that 4 inches is an extension, it's a crisscross. If you have not sewed crisscross, this is how it is done. Okay, so I'll mark my bust, which total calculation is 12. All right, it was 10. I added 2 inches sewing allowance and it gave me 12. Then the waist, I have 10 as total calculation. The hip, I have 13, which I've marked. So the next thing is use my rule and connect. Okay, now like I said earlier, this dress is a free dress. I did +4 ease. That +4 I added to my bust, waist and hip is ease. So you can increase yours if you wish to. So you curve your armhole. Now you'll be wondering, how come you're curving armhole? Look at how this dress is. We will get there. What I said earlier, that what we need basically is our basic body. So I'm just drafting the basic body. Okay, and remember, you must cut this with pattern paper so you don't waste fabric. Now we have gotten our basic measurement. Yes, now for the down, though the style is tucked in on jean, but I think though it will be more beautiful if we curve this sharp part the way we curve, okay, with French curve, so we don't so the edges will not be too sharp. All right, now I think this curving is very much okay. Once you're done, the next thing, we use scissors and cuts. Yes, all we have been doing is drafting out our basic body, our basic blouse. All right, now having gotten our basic blouse, what next? The pattern drafting proper. Yes, so you cut out your armhole, your side, the underbust, once you're done cutting them out. Now when you get to this extension, you cut it straight, like keep your hand straight and cut. You see that? This is how it should be. Okay, now having done this cutting, what next? I'll try to create my center point, open the pattern paper up. Now what I did earlier is just for me to be sure my pattern paper is visible, the center. You hope you can see the center from the folding I did earlier. You can see the center easily. Okay, so once you have opened it up, you can see where the center of the paper is. All right, I can as well use pen, my marker, to roll straight. That is our center, the middle of this paper. Okay, if you watch, nothing has been done on the neck, nothing. So it is time we start with the neck. All right, so first thing first, if you watch your turtle crisscross, it is close to the neck. So therefore, we are working with 3.5. First, let me rule out my extension so it will equally appear on the other side. When you rule out, at the end, you mark 3.5. You can see what I'm marking now is 3. That is my neck width. Yours can be 3.5. Okay, another thing is your neck depth. The minimum you can go is 3 inches. You can go for 3.5. You can go for 4 if you wish to. It's a matter of choice, whichever one you want. So I mark 3 and 3.5. Both of them are almost the same thing. Then the next, you curve. Okay, now if you cannot do what I'm doing, it's not a must. All right, you can use a French curve, but it's just a guide. This neck I'm drawing, neckline, right now is just a guide to enable me mark other necessary markings, other necessary patterns. Okay, now having gotten to this extent, the next thing is to choose which side of that pattern paper you're going for. So I'm going for the part that is written. Okay, now if that is the part you're going for, whichever part you're going for, just choose one of the two sides. Place your rule the way I just did, connect it. Now I did this to show you that using this rule will not work. Why? The neck depth will be so small. All right, another thing is French curve. The French curve is not that long. You remember our neck width is 3 or 3.5. Now the rule did not get to 3, neither did it get to 3.5. You get what I'm saying? So therefore, it will be too tight to use the long rule for that. The best is do a free hand. You can see how I'm marking it. Do free hand on it. I think that will be better. So the best thing is to do a free hand on it. Okay, you can see how I'm connecting it. My center, that circle, is the neck depth. I will not want it choking on the neck. So whatever I'm marking must be passed through that way, not above. If it is above, it will be choking. All right, it has to be on that line or below that circle. All right, so free hand is the perfect or best way, or if you can get a leg curve or hip curve, you can equally use it. Then from the 3 inches, you mark 3 or 3.5. What I marked right now is 3 and 3.5. 3, that is what I'm writing, or 3.5. Okay, now from the shoulder, remember at the shoulder, that is the way I'm writing right now is shoulder. Okay, this is shoulder. From the neck width, remember from the center I marked 3 as my neck width. From the neck width, you measure another 3 or 3.5, depending on how tiny. Then at the bust, you see this circle, whatever you're marking, this marking I'm about to do right now stops there. Do I say stops? And equally joins at that point. You use your rule and connect. Now it should not be straight. It cannot have a K effect or sharp effect. So having it this way, I need a French curve, to smoothen it out, to join the center of the dress easily. That circle at the bust, at the B line, cannot be this sharp. So we need to, give it a kind of a curve to fit into the center of the pattern. Okay, like I just did right now. It makes it more easy. It shouldn't be sharp. All right. Now, having gotten to this, you can equally keep using your free hand to smoothen it out easily. All right, so this is it. You can see it's looking more like it, but we still have a long way to go. Now you can see the distance. The next thing, get your rule, connect it straight. That is 3.5 or 3. Connect, get your rule, place it at the neck width and connect straight. Now what we are doing right now is why it is called crisscross. Okay, now this pattern, all right, the back of this dress, this is more like a band, the neck band that we are marking out. So when you connect it straight, you measure. Once you measure, you connect it the other way too. You can see from this line, you connect it straight. Now once you have this, you can see it's not too connecting. The neck is too curvy, so you're trying to smoothen it off. You can see what I did. Though on the neck, the fabric on the neck is folded, it may not be noticed when after sewing. So this straight line needs to be connected back. All right, this is what we'll be cutting, what I just marked. Okay, then we'll start from here, go follow the line and cut. I'm just showing you where our scissors will be passing through. Now if you watch this dress, you see that the scissors will pass through the center of the dress. Yes, for you to achieve this crisscross top, there will be a joining on the center of the front of the dress. Okay, so that is it. you cut. Get your scissors and cut straight. Now watch what I'm doing. Now this is one of the reasons why you should do this on pattern paper. It is, do I say necessary? Except you have excess fabric to waste. But once you have achieved this, you need to use this to get another one, and you can see the waste that gets thrown out that are not useful. So if this is actually fabric, is a waste, okay? So it's preferable you do this on a pattern paper. What next? You can see how it came out, just one part of it. Okay, now our top needs to be 2. The front section alone needs to be 2 to achieve the crisscross, okay? So what we need to do right now is take this pattern, place it on another paper and trace it out. Now, if you have not subscribed to my channel, do subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and if you have any question, drop it on the comment section, okay? Now, whichever one, or if there's any adjunction, a preferable better way, drop it on the comment section. All right, thank you for always watching. So let's keep moving, and this is the pattern I'll be using. Okay, now the pattern needs space. I can't just take anyhow pattern to trace this out. No, they need space, because you can see the shoulder or the extension is not straight, is extended really. So therefore we will not be using tiny pattern. We need pattern that has space. So having gotten this one, you can see I have excess on it. All I need to do is place it and cut exactly, no difference. Just place it and trace it out. Very easy. Okay. So guys, like I said, we need to trace this, okay, and make sure you place it perfectly well. None should be excess or too short, okay? While placing, you consider the size. That is it. So I'll just every area take my scissors and cut before placing scissors. Okay, that is basically what I need to do. Remember, once you get your first pattern, you use it to get a second pattern. Okay. Now we need to cut it down this side. So guys, try as much as possible not to fold it. Place it perfectly well before you cut. So guys, you cut. Having done the cutting, so guys, once you're done cutting, you can see how I placed it. Crisscross. Now this is how it will be. This is how it will look. So the next thing right now is to sew. You can see it is 2 pieces. It needs to be joined together here that I'm touching to make it one. All right. Now that is where your sewing will stop.
This is how it is. Now let's go for the back. This is how the back
start
is.
from the down straight up. That is where your
how the
sewing
back is
will stop, so you can cross it
the back,
easily.
Guys, you can see how the back is. The back is halter neck, the front is crisscross halter neck. All right, so I'm marking out my basic measurement: the armhole, the bust, the waist, the hip, blouse length. Okay, now the same thing we'll do to the back. All right, we have to mark out our necessary measurements first. Okay, now the same shoulder 8 is what we are working with, the same bust measurement and all the rest. Okay, now you can see there's no zip allowance at the back, so it's just to fold and you start marking. Now we have marked our shoulder. All right, that is our shoulder. The same thing at the bust, to help us curve the armhole. Get your rule, connect it straight. So place the bust measurement, come to the waist, you mark the waist measurement plus sewing allowance, come to the bust, you mark. Remember our waist is 13, so you mark. Now the next thing is to use our French curve and connect. Basically, we are marking our basic blouse or top measurement. Do not forget to drop your question on the comment section. Give this video a thumbs up. Now, having connected my waist to hip or blouse length, let's connect the bust to the waist. Now we have this as our basic. Let's go for the curving of the armhole. All right, for the curving of the armhole, this is the armhole. Okay, now having cut the next thing, we need to curve the down of the blouse. The same thing we did to the front, we equally do to the blouse, the back, then you cut. Okay, now we are cutting out our basic blouse first. That is what we are cutting out. We are cutting out our basic blouse. Straight. So this is our basic body. All right, the next thing to mark here is our neck. So remember, we are equally working with 3 inches neck width. Neck depth is matter of choice. Your neck depth can be 3, your neck depth can be 2, your neck depth can be 1.5. But for me, I will be working with 1.5. Whichever one that is okay with you, you go ahead. Now I'm working with 1.5. Remember how I curve my armhole? I like it this way, then I'll curve. It makes it easy for me. Now, having gotten to this extent, the next thing you mark, remember, is halter neck. So I'm using 2. You can see where I measure my 2 from. Then I'll get my French curve and connect. Okay, from the neck width, connect. From the neck width, then neck depth, curve it, then you connect. Now, having marked this is how our back is. Halter neck. This is how it is. then you cut. So having finished cutting, let's go home. It's definitely ready. All right, so what I need to do is get this back. This is our back, the way it is, the two sides. Okay, now the back is not compulsory there will be opening at the back. Okay, it can actually work without opening. Now once you have your back, the next thing is place your front. Make sure what you saw is exactly what it is. And we have placed the front pattern on the back pattern. You can see the end result. That is how it is. So guys, this is the back. Let's use tape and hold it perfectly well. So you join the front together and sew. Where I'm sellotaping right now, the line straight is where you are to sew. So this is it. Now if you watch the front of this dress, it is a little bit folded. Okay, now you can fold it, pleat it, then you fold. This is how it will be. So you curve. Okay, so let me get tape to be able to do this easily. So this is how you do that. Just cross it over. You see, this is it. So this is how it will be. So let's get something and hold it tight. Please do give this video a thumbs up if you have not, and do subscribe, darling. Thank you. So that is our crisscross halter neck. Okay, so let me just get tape and hold it at the center. Okay,